We have Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, Rashad Penny, so many running backs exploding up fantasy football rankings here. I want to try to not overreact to this past week, but still do a good job of trying to update these rankings, especially with some week 4 matchups, because there are some juicy ones. But before we get into it, go down there, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. We're going to continue to live stream every single day, answering all your fantasy football questions. So make sure you hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss a live stream. Hell, I haven't missed a day of live streaming in over 100 days. And also, if you have any questions and you're not able to make it out to the stream, just feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. Last but not least, this video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You will see some player props on the screen for this video as we go through. Those are all on Underdog when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy and use promo code FLOCK with the link in the description of the video. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. So yeah, make sure you take advantage of that. Go deposit $10, have $20 in your account. You can also get into a draft with us during the season here. But let's go through. Let's dive into tier 1, looking at Saquon Barkley. Not gonna lie, a little bit worried about Barkley continuing to do what he has done. Knowing that, I mean, dear God, Daniel Jones going to be out. Not only Daniel Jones, we don't know that for sure. But anyway, there's an outside chance that you're with the 3rd string quarterback here with the Giants. And they made it work. They ran the Wildcat last week. But if a defense is able to prepare for that, this may be a very difficult spot with the Green Bay Packers possibly shutting down the Giants offense. Still, Barkley's leading the NFL in rushing. Clearly back to his prime self. I think you can have him at 1. Going at 2, we have CMC. Baker Mayfield still looked like a train wreck. Christian McCaffrey still didn't really do anything on the ground, but through the air, you finally had a vintage Christian McCaffrey day where he had more receptions than he had carries. I can be very excited. And as we go down to the next tier, the dog's over here. So if you're not going to drop a like on the video for me, drop a like for the dog. Tell him. Say, drop a like. Drop a like. All right. You heard the lady. Go down there and drop that like. And our next running back at 3 is going to be Austin Eckler. Going up against Cleveland, Eckler gave you what you wanted. Finally, we don't need him to be prime Ezekiel Elliott, seeing 30 touches in his offense. No, what we need is the volume in the passing game, this to be an elite level offense, and Austin Eckler to have the role in the red zone. That's exactly what we had. 3 touchdowns this past week. Tougher matchup going up against Cleveland. Clearly Cleveland missing a couple of their top guys last week. Still shut down Mariota. But Justin Herbert is a little bit better than Mariota here. Looks like Herbert is, I don't want to say 100% back from the injury, but getting close. Now our next guy is going to be Nick Chubb in that same game. Nick Chubb, you know what to expect. You're getting 100 rushing yards. I mean, I thought this wasn't a great spot for Dameon Pierce last week because I thought the Houston Texans would be trailing. We'll get to Dameon Pierce in a little bit. But he had a fine day. Nick Chubb's running by in a much better offensive line. Nick Chubb, honestly, probably is a better quarterback. I know people are going to hate that, but also Nick Chubb, a significantly better running back. I think you'd be very excited. Get his typical 100 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Now our next guy, Derrick Henry, very comparable to Chubb. First and second down player. Not really going to get involved as a pass catcher too often, but you can pretty much guarantee yourself that you're going to get close to 100 rushing yards outside of the Buffalo Bills game this season. Derrick Henry has looked pretty damn good. And our last running back in this tier is going to be Dalvin Cook. The matchup's phenomenal. The Chicago Bears have been atrocious against the run every single week. Every single week this season. I understand Alexander Mattison scores the touchdown a week ago. Dalvin Cook's still getting involved on 3rd down. Dalvin Cook is still getting 20 touches in a contest. I think the workload's going to be there for Dalvin. He's going to be a week healthier. I love the matchup. I think he's definitely at least a top tier running back. Now our next tier is going to be led off with Joe Mixon at 7. Here I don't love the matchup so much going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, last time Cincinnati played Baltimore, you had like 525 passing yards for Joe Burrow. I don't know if they want to run. They tried to run the ball last week against the Miami Dolphins. Keep in mind, Miami is a great defense. They gave Joe Mixon the workload. Samaje Perine had nothing. Joe Mixon didn't do much with it. I'm hoping we get a better week, but it's hard. And now our next guy, going to be Leonard Fournette at 8. With Fournette, Rachaad White's expanding his role in Tampa. With Fournette, he failed as a rusher a week ago, but it's a great matchup going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Not only is it a great matchup, but at the same time, even though Fournette failed, this was a running back that was getting involved on third down. He had like 7 receptions, a receiving touchdown. He had a stat line you would have been excited about for most wide receivers in the receiving game. Not too much to talk about here. Should be a very good offense now that we have all these weapons back. Now going down to our next tier, we're going to have Najee Harris with Kenny Pickett most likely under center. Pickett looked horrendous if you were just box score scouting last week. Threw 3 interceptions, 0 passing touchdowns. You got to keep in mind that with Kenny Pickett, one of those interceptions was just a pure Hail Mary at the end of the first half. The other ones were kind of 50-50 jump balls between the receiver and the corner. The corner came down with it. Not trying to say that Kenny Pickett was good his first weekend, but not as miserable as what you would maybe assume just by looking at the box score. I don't know. It's going to be a very tough matchup here. Kind of feel like you're feeding Kenny Pickett to the Sharks here. But going over to our next running back, Alvin Kamara at 10. I mean, this is a matchup where Jamal Williams just crushed. Now, I understand with Kamara, he practiced all last week. Like, we thought he was playing. I thought there was no chance Alvin Kamara was going to miss. He missed, so there is a lot of uncertainty here. Of course, I'm going to continue to give updates to these rankings all the way until the end of the week. So make sure you just subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. That way you're able to get updated rankings every time we have some news here with these guys. If Kamara plays though, last time we saw him active, he had 15 carries. He had 7 targets out of the backfield as well. So I think the workload is there for Kamara. Now our next guy is going to be Jamal Williams at 11. I mean, Jamal, like we discussed, crushed the Seattle Seahawks last week. And I think it's safe to say at this point that the Detroit Lions have maybe not the best, but at least one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL. Jared Goff looked great regardless of all his top options missing. Jamal Williams is like right now leading the running back position in total touchdowns. It is obnoxious. I think that he is kind of a must-start guy here. But now dropping down to our next tier, we are going to have Miles Sanders at 12. And real quick, let me prepare you for this tier because I can already hear the comment section. First off, not ranking Jonathan Taylor because we do not have Jonathan Taylor clarity. I'm assuming he's missing on Thursday night. I'll give an update if JT plays. But with this tier, you're about to see 10 running backs. Literally 10 running backs. I agree. I think you could rank these guys in almost any order you want. I'm going to make sure we're monitoring practice reports. I'm going to make sure that we're going through and doing everything we can to give you the most up-to-date, accurate list at the end of the week. But as of now, here are my thoughts. Miles Sanders at 12, going up against Arizona. With Sanders, I'm assuming you have no Boston Scott. At the same time, I'm assuming that this is an elite level offense as they have been an elite level offense every single week so far this season. See, I am very excited about what we are going to have from Miles Sanders if we have no Boston Scott here. Now, our next guy is going to be James Robinson going up against the Houston Texans. Houston, garbage team. Garbage. I think Jacksonville crushes them. I think on first and second down in the second half, you're going to get a significant amount of rushing attempts for James Robinson here. Eckler just put up 3 touchdowns. I think at this point, even if I like Travis Etienne in fantasy drafts coming into this season, I have to be very pessimistic about what we have with Travis Etienne and his role. I think this is a beautiful matchup and a clear bounce back spot for James Robinson. Now, our next guy is going to be Breece Hall at 14. With Breece Hall, if you wanted to rank him lower than this, you probably should. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Y'all know Breece Hall is my guy. Y'all know I want to get excited about Breece Hall. But to be fair, I mean, here going up against the Miami Dolphins, this is going to be a very tough matchup. I mean, in a tough matchup, maybe we want to move him down. I don't care. He's taking more and more of this backfield. He is right there at the very top for the New York Jets in the targets that he is seeing as well. This level of involvement as a pass catcher has me really excited. Moving down to our next guy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 15. I owe everyone a massive apology. I told everyone, bench CEH, bench Clyde Edwards-Helaire in week 4. Coming off a week in week 3 where Jerick McKinnon played more snaps, where Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 0 rushing yards, and going up against one of the toughest rush defenses in the NFL, week 4 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought CH was toast. However, he had a very impressive performance. I think we need to give the man the credit he deserves. especially in an okay matchup here against the Raiders. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to move him to 15. And in that same game, we are going to have Josh Jacobs at 16. Y'all know Jalen Waddle, my most drafted wide receiver on Underdog with over 700 teams. Josh Jacobs was my most drafted running back because you would consistently get him in the 6th, 7th round. Sometimes he's falling to the 8th round of those drafts. Played damn near every single snap this past week. Keep in mind, they had the game environment that you would want. The Raiders were winning that game. Going up against the Chiefs, maybe it's not as good of a game environment. Maybe I want to get excited about Jacobs. Now going over to our next running back, we're going to have James Conner at 17. Horrendous matchup. Going up against Philadelphia, one of the toughest defensive fronts in the NFL. And James Conner has been bad, but keep in mind, James Conner got injured week 2. So those stats, throw them out the window. They don't matter. Week 3, he was somewhat limited. And outside of that, if you're looking at him, he's a running back that's getting pretty much every touch out of his backfield. He's a running back that's averaging about 5 targets a game, including the game that he left halfway through. He's being involved, has the exact workload you want. We talked about touchdown regression hitting him coming into the season. Clearly, that touchdown regression is hitting very hard right now. People are panicking, but this is the exact role you wanted from James Conner. Honestly, if it was not for the brutal matchup going up against the Eagles, I'd have him ranked higher than this. But going over to J.K. Dobbins at 18 here. With Dobbins, I want to get excited. I mean, he's playing in an elite level offense. Not only an elite level offense, but he's getting involved on third downs. He had multiple receptions. He had 4 receptions this past week. Getting involved in the red zone. He had multiple touchdowns this past week as well. I am very excited to start Dobbins going forward. Now our next guy is going to be Dameon Pierce going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, Dameon Pierce, very similar to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I owe you an apology. I looked at the third down usage in Houston, the 2-minute drill in Houston, seeing that Rex Burkhead gets everything on those downs. And I was saying, all right, well, we probably are expecting the Houston Texans to get boat raced here by the Chargers. It's not going to be a great game environment for Dameon Pierce. I'll pass. Dameon Pierce crushed 75-yard rushing touchdown. He had 6 receptions for 8 receiving yards as well. Not getting involved on third down, but still drawing targets out of the backfield on first and second. Got to give Dameon Pierce credit where credit's due. Now, it is a tough matchup going up against Jacksonville, even if Miles Sanders just had a phenomenal day. Now, our next guy, I already know down there in the Premier chat, in the comment section, you already are typing, oh my gosh, this guy's an idiot. How is he not ranked Jeff Wilson? Or he's ranking Jeff Wilson way too high. I'm recording this before the Monday night game. I want to get this to you in a timely manner. So we're recording this before the Monday night game with Jeff Wilson. Haven't seen him play yet. I will say it's going to be a toughish matchup going up against Carolina. But hell, Jeff Wilson, probably on Monday night, had damn near every touch out of his backfield in an offense that wants to run the ball. I think you can be excited about Jeff Wilson. And our last guy here is going to be Khalil Herbert at 21. Like I said, I will update y'all as the week goes on. I don't know if we're going to get David Montgomery this week or not. If David Montgomery plays, clearly you're not starting Khalil Herbert. Clearly you're not going to. Going up against Minnesota, the matchup's kind of whatever. And with Khalil Herbert, this is a running back that's not getting involved on third down, playing in a piss poor offense. I think it's a fair spot to rank him. But as I said, this is one giant tier. Please go down to the comment section. Help me out. Tell me what you think I got wrong. That way, when we go through and update the rankings for you at the end of the week, when we have more information on the matchups, have more information with injuries in the overall context of their respective offenses, I can't update these. So please go to the comment section and feel free to say, Mason, you're an idiot. How dare you rank Dameon Pierce at 19? You need to put him at running back 3. Please let me know. But now going down to our next guy, we're going to have Kareem Hunt at 22. With Hunt, I mean, same thing we've seen every single week so far this year. Had about 12 touches this past week. He didn't score the touchdown, so he's not someone that's exciting to put in your lineup. He's playing behind an elite level offensive line, still secondary behind Nick Chubb, still getting some level of involvement as a pass catcher. Nothing's really changed here with Kareem Hunt. Going up against the Chargers, this is a spot where probably the Browns trail, where they are forced to throw the ball. And also, Dameon Pierce has had a great day against the Los Angeles Chargers. Now going over to our next guy, A.J. Dillon, 23. Don't really like the matchup with A.J. Dillon, and A.J. Dillon continues to see as many touches as Aaron Jones in this backfield. A.J. Dillon continues to have a larger role than I thought he would coming into the season. I don't really love the matchup against the New York Giants, if I'm going to be honest. Kind of is what it is. And clearly Aaron Jones just being so much more efficient with his touches. Now our next guy is going to be Rashad Penny at 24. Well, I know we're going to get hate with this Rashad Penny ranking. I'm fine with it. Rashad Penny and the Seattle Seahawks crushed last week. 48 points. Penny was literally winning people millions of dollars in DFS tournaments. I understand. But still, Kenneth Walker had a role. Rashad Penny's a committee running back and what I assume to be one of the worst offenses in the NFL. I think the 48-point game by the Seattle Seahawks was a culmination of a couple different things. I think you had the any given Sunday mentality of the NFL, where we know inherently there's some randomness, as well as a horrendous Detroit Lions defense. I think these two things came together to be a perfect storm for the Seattle Seahawks. Going up against New Orleans, I'm not going to be that excited about Penny. The man had one reception last week, not getting involved on third down at all. Now, our next guy is going to be Melvin Gordon, 25. Clearly, Javonte Williams out for the year. That's going to be very sad. We have to try to figure out what we're going to be getting with Melvin Gordon and Mike Boone. Mike Boone had a very large role whenever Javonte went down, but keep in mind, Melvin Gordon dealt with a small injury as well that game. Melvin Gordon dealt with some fumbling issues. I think that Melvin Gordon is most likely the starting running back here on Thursday. With that being said, inherently there is some uncertainty. So I think we do have to have him a little bit lower as that low-end running back 2, high-end running back 3. Now our next guy is going to be Damian Harris at 26. Beautiful matchup going up against the Detroit Lions, right where we saw Rashad Penny crush a week ago. If we knew who the quarterback was going to be, if we had some certainty that we knew we could say this was going to be an above average offense this week, I would be excited to move Damian Harris up these rankings. Maybe that's something we can do later in the week when we have that quarterback clarity. But right now, I am very worried that Damian Harris may have a great matchup, but maybe playing in a horrendous offense. Now, going over to our next guy, we're going to have Ezekiel Elliott, 27. Going up against the Rams, going to be a very tough matchup. Y'all know I've continued to rank Zeke above Tony Pollard. I mean, here it's difficult going up against the Rams. He's still playing in a very bad offense. There are additional weapons here in Michael Gallup, in Dalton Schultz, where the running backs don't have to be seeing as many touches per game. Cooper Rush has been phenomenal so far. Like if Cooper Rush wins like the next 2 weeks, Cooper Rush goes to being what, like 6-0 as a starter? Maybe at that point you have some kind of quarterback controversy. I don't know. I'm going to be hesitant to play any Dallas Cowboys running back until we get Dak Prescott back. But now going over to our last tier, we're going to have Cam Akers at 28. Sending up a prayer that Cam Akers is a 3-down running back in Los Angeles on Monday night, and I'm able to move him up these rankings when we give you those updates. However, I do think that's going to be a brutal matchup going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who have not allowed 20 points to any team this season. And on top of this, I think he's probably in a committee with Darrell Henderson. Of course, I will be giving you these updates later on. But now Antonio Gibson at 29. This will be something we have to monitor throughout the week. I don't know if Brian Robinson Jr. is playing this week. He is eligible to play. Now keep in mind, in week 6, Washington plays on Thursday night. So maybe they go, okay, let's give him some extra time. We don't want him to be playing on a short week either. Maybe we play him week 6, let him play on Thursday, then have 10 days to recover for week 7. I don't know, but if you're looking at Antonio Gibson, less than 50% of snaps, back-to-back weeks here for Washington, a little bit worrisome. And we're going to have Ramondre Stevenson at 30, very similar to Damian Harris. Beautiful matchup. A lot of uncertainty with the quarterback spot, however. But please go to the comment section. Let me know what you think I got wrong in this video. Make sure you go leave any questions you have there as well. I'm going to be reading those comments to try to make some small tweaks, maybe give y'all the decision in a few tiebreaker spots in the update later this week. Let me know where you think Tyler Algier should be ranked, Tony Pollard, Darrell Henderson, Devin Singletary. I'm going to be updating this to the top 36 later this week. So make sure you subscribe, go down there, drop that like. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great day and hope we get to see you with the live stream tonight.